welcome to another exciting episode of Best of Five. Is this our second or third episode? What are we doing here?
I think it's officially episode 2.
Episode 2.
Episode 0 being just a memoir.
Yes, that one has been lost to the internet. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you're new to the show, this is a weekly fighting game talk show that has had its ups and downs, but we're back. We're excited to be here. We're also excited because tonight our guest is none other than one of the OGs of the space, Alejandro Valle. Alex Valle himself is going to be on the show later. He's going to talk to us about Thuggery, E-League, and all things FGC. He's also going to get in a set with Compadre here. What do you think is going to happen?
Not only a set, but a set with our newly acquired cable-connected
No more that
internet.
Wi-Fi tech.
So no Wi-Fi. I will no longer be taking in the free wins with my online.
I think he still beat
Wi-Fi
you.
Karen.
I think Punk still beat you last week. Even
No, he
with the
did
chop.
not. It was 1-0.
I'm going to have to ask
Wi-Fi.
our panel, when our panel comes on, and we're joined, as we always are every week, by none other than John Velociraptor Guerrero. You know him. You love him. He's got a go-can. And sorry, Steve, you have to point the other direction now. There you go. Yeah. And he writes for Event Hubs as well. Shout-outs to Event Hubs and John for being on the show.
Thanks,
Event Hubs
guys.
isn't on the show, but they're letting you be on the show. And, of course, Steve, Ace King Offsuit Jurek, the man with the plan. He writes for .esports. He puts out schedules. He's also a really cool guy and a nice friend.
I don't know about all that, but I'll take the first two. I won't debate those.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us again. I can't believe you guys keep bringing us back.
We wouldn't have it any other way, buddy. Especially, we couldn't lose Steve. There's no way.
That joke just never gets old, man. It's just like, hey, don't need you. Great.
Listen, to your credit, John, the majority of the show is going to be infused with a topic that you brought up that we're excited to talk about, which is youth in the FGC. But before we get to that, our boy Steve is going to hit us up with a recap of some of the events from the weekend. What do you want to kick us off with, my man?
Let's go with hype spotting. That was the ranking event out in the UK. You had a few big European names out there, including Luffy, Problem X, and Luffy was that dude once again. Remember, he can still win events. He took it over Kobalcog in the grand final. Takamura in third, and Problem X, who has been incredible throughout most of the early season and the preseason, finished in fourth. I can talk, I swear. And then you see some of the other UK players rounding out the top 8, but Luffy once again showing us that he can do work. Then the big event of the weekend, stateside, was NorCal Regionals. Huge tournament for not only Street Fighter, but for Marvel, for Tekken. But on the Street Fighter side, it was the guy who was here last week, Punk. He said he wanted to win a premier event. Guess what? He got his wish. Beat NuckleDoo in grand finals, coming back from the loser side to take it in yet another All-American grand final.
That's another thing we're going to talk about, but let's hold on to it for a second here.
Yeah, this is something we might be getting used to for a while. Fudo ended up in third. Bonchan in fourth. What a weekend for him as well. Chris G and LPN tied for fifth. Chris G, I don't know if you guys saw this, but right after he placed top 8, he tweeted out, "Fun fact, I wasn't invited to E-League." So,
What a Chris G thing to do and say. Oh my gosh.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. He feels a little disrespected, and he's showing that, hey, he deserves to be in that conversation. And then Mago and Gamer B rounding out the top 8. So I know it's early, but I want to take a look at the global standings if we could.
You got him there.
Right at the top, Punk at 570 points. That's right around the marker we said that would be enough to get in. So I wouldn't write his name in marker yet, but you can already pencil him in as long as you got the eraser on top. And then NuckleDoo tied for third in the standings, but of course he's already in by virtue of being the global champion. Chris G in the top 10 as well. So pretty good U.S. representation, at least early on in the season, in the top 10.
What happened last year with people who made it in early? I know Infiltration is the obvious one to talk about. He started off hot,
Tokido also made it in extremely early and went 0-2.
So is there anything?
And Justin Wong.
Is there anything to glean from people who make it in early, or no? Not really.
I mean,
I don't.
well, go ahead, Steve.
No, you go ahead.
I think gameplay-wise, I mean, we had a bunch of weird things, but there was no patch in between, March when Infiltration got in and December when Capcom Cup was. However, the game was a lot newer as a whole when a lot of those guys made it in, so some of their strategies and some of what they were doing was completely new, completely unseen. People made early top 8s who never made another top 8 again. Obviously, Infiltration, Tokido, and Justin Wong are great players, but I also think they're like very accelerated learners of games. Whereas at this point, I think if you're winning tournaments early on in the second year of the game, you'll probably keep winning later on in the second year of the game.
Steve, do you have anything to add to that? Since Donka cut you off, and actually you cut him off.
Well, we cut each other off. We share like that. Like he was saying, it wasn't just a new season; it was a brand new game. First event was like 2 or 3 weeks after the launch of the game, so things evolved so quickly from the first couple months to the end. Now there are differences between the beginning of this season and what will be the end of the season. But those changes aren't going to be nearly as drastic as we saw at least in the meta, from what we saw from the same point last year, just because of how new the game was.
Steve, before the show, no, I'm sorry, it was you, John. You brought up Born Free, friend of ours, friend of the show. He got out there. They sent him out. He did his interviews. Am I correct in saying that he did all Japanese player interviews only, exclusively?
I think he got all Japanese interviews. Yeah, we'll see over the next couple of days. He's going to release one every day.
And the first one that already came out, and I was seeing it on Event Hubs, was with Bon-chan. Speaking of Punk's idol, Bon-chan. And, it's an hour long. I'm not going to complain. Our show's an hour and a half long. But it's a long interview, but it's a good one. You should check it out. John, what's the takeaway from that interview that people seem to be gravitating towards, if you will?
Well, yeah, Bon-chan, first of all, for a little bit of backstory, Bon-chan was amazing, especially towards the end of Street Fighter 4. That's when everybody knew his name in a big way because of his Sagat play, second in Evo, that kind of thing. And then Street Fighter 5 rolled around, and he kind of went into the back of the class a little bit. We didn't see him in top 8s. We didn't see him doing as well. And then out of nowhere, he comes out for NCR, places top 8, and he does so with Nash, a character that everybody is saying had his arms and legs cut off. So overnight, Bon-chan comes back on the scene and has done something to, if there was any question about his credibility, it's no longer a question. But he comes out and basically says, I don't hate Street Fighter 5, but holy crap, do I have some issues with it. And the way he explained it, at least through how it got translated into English from Japanese, he said that things like the creator of Balrog, or the designer of Balrog in this season, was stupid, and I'm making that a little more PC. He was saying, I mean, a lot of the things that have been brought up already, complaints about the game, Bon-chan went in hard on. And that's not something that we tend to see. Sometimes players will say, yeah, well, maybe this could be a little bit better, maybe with the exception of Infiltration going in on the game. But Bon-chan just kind of ripped Street Fighter V a new one, and he did it without any shame, and a lot of the community just latched onto that and said, yeah, Bon-chan's telling it like it is. And yeah, so that's kind of been the talk of the town for the last 24 hours or so.
I think you referred to the guys that are doing the balance as like kindergartners or preschoolers or something to that effect.
Yeah, he had some pretty colorful ways of saying that he wasn't too happy about things right now. But no apologies, just goes in.
I don't want to get off the topic of, since we're still in the bubble here of NCR, because I want to show some other stuff, but that's not the first time that a super pro comes out and says that.
No.
Recently also Infiltration, speaking of, on a Core Gaming interview that he did, man, he did not pull punches. So everybody, man, what does that tell you? I get concerned, right?
It tells you basically what everybody has been saying throughout the entire life of Street Fighter V. It is still a very flawed game. The changes that they're making are A, not enough to fix all of the flaws, and B, in a lot of senses, questionable. to the point where even the people who are making money off of this game and are most vested in seeing this game do well are saying, hey, wait a second, we've still got some big issues here. And I know we're going to dip into the release that they're going to that's coming out next week. But again, nothing of note coming with the changes in terms of gameplay, in terms of quality of life. This is still a very deeply flawed game, as much as people want to love it.
Well, we're going to talk about, I guess we can, because, we're trying to hit some topics here, but we want to talk about the young kids and what they're doing in the scene. But first, this is my favorite GIF so far this season. This one right here. You can use it in so many different things. But, Steve, I'm using this one for you, what you just said. Anyway, still super entertaining for stream monsters, but what's your impression right now, man? Let's just jump into that topic. The young guns here are wrecking shop. Punk has definitely been putting on a show.
Oh, so we're not going to talk about Street Fighter V? We're just talking about...
You talk about what you want to talk about. I'm trying to not just have this be a let's
I'll try
bash.
to weave them together in a little rant.
It's been a while.
Somebody,
Yeah,
So-
get your coffee going.
So I've said this probably 600 times on this show. I'm not typically a Street Fighter player. I typically prefer the faster of the fighting games, the KOFs, the anime games. Of the Street Fighters, I really enjoy Street Fighter V, and I think that the balance is actually pretty good and that it's a decent game. I think there is tons to complain about, and I think the most important things to complain about and what stems all these other complaints for the most part is how badly Capcom has handled things in terms of PR about the game itself. And I think that has stemmed over, and there's obviously gameplay issues too, and there's things that people don't necessarily agree with, but I think a lot of that just comes from the way Capcom has handled things. And I feel like they've done an almost impeccably perfect job of rolling out releases wrong. Like I like they couldn't do worse if they tried. When you release patches, they're either supposed to be very small and seamless so that they're just, bug fixes, or they're supposed to be large enough that there's something you can get excited about. A new patch. Oh, it's, Super Street Fighter V is coming out with 10 new characters at once and we're going to get really excited. But instead, we get one character every 2 months with barely anything attached to it. We get a couple costumes here. We get this there. But there's never enough for everyone to get excited. Maybe, like 2 people out of 10 are excited for the new character, but it's never going to be all 10 because it's never enough at once. And when there's no excitement to brew about the game, you just kind of brew in the piss at the bottom, which is what we've been doing for months now. And then so that's my rant about Street Fighter V.
And when the new character comes out, how are you going to feel?
I don't know.
You won't be excited?
I like Colleen a lot. She's probably the character I'll play for the rest of Street Fighter V until
But
how excited
are you for these new costumes?
It's going to be Taylor. I'm pretty sure.
Is that the guy that's in the background of Guile Stage?
Yeah.
Okay. If we can cut to these awesome new costumes that are out, check that one out. How about this one? Did you see this one? That one's cool.
I'm a huge fan of the Chun-Li costume, actually.
This one?
Yeah.
Listen.
I think the jury costume is very inspired. I think it for her persona, and it's been a very clear persona. Her characterization, if she were in school, of course she'd be the gothic girl with like the black lipstick and the skirt and all that. Like that's beautiful for jury as a character. I really like it. So I think that was inspired. But it's great that we're getting continued support for the game in these details, right? We're getting a new costume for a couple of characters that have 300 costumes already, and we're getting a new stage that people have really been excited for. But it's in the face of basically everything we've just been talking about, in that the game has so many flaws. It's like, can maybe put more time and effort into fixing the things that the fans are not happy about, as opposed to rolling out these new costumes that we don't need. Like, great, we appreciate them, but damn, how about attending to some of the other issues that are more pressing?
I'm wondering if there's some poor programmer sitting there, and he's just like, I swear, guys, I can put in Player 2 rematch, and they're just like slamming his head into the ground to make another Ryu costume. Like, there's got to be someone there who's like just crying to do it, right?
It seems like it'd be such an easy. So many of these things.
I mean, if I worked there, I'd give Balrog like 500 health just right before we dropped it. But I mean, I don't know.
I
And
don't
even
think it's that easy.
Well, I know it's not easy, but let's remember what Capcom said. When Colleen came out, they said, we'll release a new character every other month. That was at the end of February. It is now close to the end of April. We have heard absolutely nothing about who this character is going to be from official channels. We don't even know if a character is coming out at the end of April. We're one character into this loop and we're already behind. This is just more of the same crap.
Steve, my question to somebody at Capcom would be, what's the issue, right? Like, if you guys are saying it's going to happen, what is the hold? There's got to be some legitimate holdup. I'm sure they're not doing this on purpose, and I don't think they enjoy, setting expectations and then not meeting them, obviously.
Well, realistically, what could they say? Don't have. They're not going to come out and say we don't have the resources to do it. They're not going to come out and say, you know what, we need to focus on the things that actually make us money that we can sell so that we can continue to work on the game in any sort of fashion. They're not going to say that. It's just going to be, we hear you. We appreciate your patience. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's no way for them to, if they can't deliver what they're talking about, there's no way for them to come out and be out front with fans like the fans want them to.
Somebody in the chat just said, and I know you love it when I quote the chat, but our Mika here, our _Mika says they might do a character announcement at E-League. I don't think that's based on fact necessarily, but that actually would be an interesting idea to take advantage. If I'm not mistaken, this Friday they're doing, or sometime this week, maybe Thursday, they're doing the celebrity one with Charles Barkley and Shaq and Eva Mendes. Or is that her name? Eva.
If Shaq
Eva
drops
Marie.
Taylor, that's going to be
That's what I'm saying, right? Wouldn't that be cool? What's the
That
name of
one's actually next weekend.
Oh,
so this
GD.
weekend, this weekend is Group B, and then next weekend is the celebrity thing while DreamHack Austin is going down.
I see.
I mean, they've done it really well a few times. I mean, I don't remember, was it CEO where they showed the Balrog trailer? I mean, there was one that was really cool. When they showed the Ultimate Marvel trailer at Capcom Cup, that was pretty cool.
I'm getting blown up for the Eva Mendes. What's the name of the wrestler? Come on.
No, it's Eva Marie.
That
It's funny that you said that.
I saw a picture of her doing her hair like Laura.
Yeah. I actually have a
should be
story
interesting.
to post about that later. But it's funny that you say that because I was having a chat with my coworkers earlier talking about, how we're going to tackle today and everything. And I kept calling her Eva Mendes just because I didn't know her last name off the top of my head. So that's the joke at the Event Hubs chat is also like Eva Mendes, Eva Longoria. So you're not alone, man. Don't worry about it.
So anyway, when Eva Longoria comes out on that screen, I'm going to be really excited for that for sure.
Can I say one more thing about how antithetical it is to drop a character every 2 months and then balance the game once at the beginning of the year so that the character that gets dropped in November...
How would you do it, Donka?
So whoever gets dropped in December gets 0 time to get play tested before they get balanced, and that's exactly how Urian happens. I mean, it makes no sense, right? I mean, Urian was out, people thought he was okay, but they didn't know how good he was yet, and then all of a sudden he gets buffed on every move.
So, Donka, are you? I feel like we're getting dangerously close to this point because of how long it's been, how many problems there have been, and how many problems haven't been fixed in the community's eyes. But I would ask, do you feel like you're getting close to the point where you're either going to stop playing or you're just going to have this completely muted, numb feeling toward the game? Or what's your approach? Like, when do you just throw your hands up and say, when's Marvel Infinite or, when's KI next? Whatever, just when am I going to a different game or something along those lines?
I'm already there.
So
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be straight up honest. I have played, since the patch came out, more Street Fighter 4 than I've played Street Fighter 5.
Well,
I just don't... There's nothing that they've added that has excited me again. I still enjoy watching it. I still enjoy covering it. But the act of playing it, it just doesn't do it for me. And nothing I'm hearing coming down the pipe is changing that. At least yet.
I mean, playing Street Fighter 4 feels like biting my own tongue, so I'm not going to go that far with myself. But it's an interesting question, and I think it's more frustration than it is dismay with the game. As I've said, I'm one of the 3 people who publicly like Street Fighter 5. And I still like the game, but when you're trying to defend something and the people who make it are trying their hardest not to let you defend it, it gets harder and harder to do that. And so when people blow up the game and they say things and they give examples that were clearly in other games they claim to like, yeah, I'll keep defending Street Fighter V. But when someone says, Capcom sucks, I'm going to be like, I love them, but yeah, they kind of suck.
And I think that's the general sentiment that a lot of people are feeling right now. Also, we were talking about how we're talking about it earlier. I just want to say, like, to the guys that are working on Street Fighter V right now, that don't have a say in all of these things, that can't just magically make like a rematch button for player 2. I do not envy your position. I feel bad. I know you're probably going through hell right now. And if any of you guys watch this show, we're not mad at you, unless you're the one that's making all this crazy crap happen. But I don't think your combo fiends and your Matt Dahlgrens and all those guys that we see are the ones responsible for this. I don't know. But
you heard it
here.
Yeah,
I just want to
John
say,
is blaming this, putting the blame squarely on Capcom Japan. I want to echo your sentiment, though. Several Evos ago, I had the opportunity to speak with Nidel Hans Krisain, who now runs, if I'm not mistaken, the esports venture here for Capcom. And you could tell that they probably feel what you're describing. But he also said, "Hey guys, I get it. There's reasons to be mad at the game and this, that, and the other. But also take time to tell us what you like about it. One of the things that I like about it is that it's still fun, entertaining, something to do on the weekends. I don't watch traditional sports all that often, but I love watching my streams. And on top of that, not to be a kiss ass, but shout outs to Capcom for letting us run these replays on the show. They gave us permission to do so, and I'm grateful. You can go to Capcom Fighters to watch all this if you missed it live on Twitch.
I mean, my Twitter is mostly me talking like back to people about why this is fine and why the game is good. Don't get me wrong. And the esports segment of it has been done pretty well. I mean, we had a couple gaffes with the whole Thuggery thing that everyone is now mad about because it's been driven into the ground because it was a meme before. But overall, I mean, the Pro Tour has been very entertaining, and it's a huge step up from anything we had in the FGC before. The question in my mind is, with Marvel Infinite coming out, we're at kind of a weird standstill in the FGC right now. Personally, as someone who mostly played non-Capcom games, it feels like they are having a tougher time than ever, despite Street Fighter V getting all this, hate on Twitter and stuff like that. It feels like the dev support as far as the Pro Tour has gotten so great, and the streams have gotten so Street Fighter V focused as a result that no one, in comparison to before, is playing these other games. My question is whether, due to SFI's negative stigma, Marvel Infinite could actually overtake it. And whether people's opinions would be like, well, as long as it's better than Street Fighter V, we're going to make this our messiah. But, I mean, that's a topic for this November.
It's got to be a good game on launch. It comes down to that. If it's not a good game on launch, all of this is moot conversation. So,
I mean,
that
was
is
Vanilla
to be
Marvel?
seen.
Are you saying that based on the fact that Street Fighter V had the rocky launch, or are you just saying that in general? Because Marvel Vanilla, Marvel 3 had its issues, and they had to patch it.
But they weren't issues as much. They were gameplay issues as far as things being broken in game. But as far as like the dialogue between the characters and the way they looked and the lack of clipping, and the menus working and you being able to rematch in the game, those things were all there. And I think everyone really liked them. So if they can do that again.
It's partially that, Street Fighter V's issues are at a whole nother level compared to whatever issues Marvel had on launch. But it's also that the marketplace is going to be pretty damn crowded. I mean, we've got Injustice coming out pretty soon. We've got Tekken coming out pretty soon. So if you're not a Capcom fan, you've still got some pretty good options out there. UniLST, for the 5 people out there who play it, God bless you. That's going to come out on console pretty soon, too. They just announced. So there's options out there. There's still plenty of ways to enjoy fighting games.
Steve,
I just don't know if
Steve,
it's going to be...
Thank you for that segue, because now we can talk about what everybody I know has been waiting to talk about, and that, of course, is Poison Ivy. Check her out, guys. Isn't that cool? This is what everybody's waiting for.
Is anyone's fetish Injustice 2 female characters' faces?
Why?
I'm just wondering.
Has to be. There's 3.5 billion guys in the world, and some of us like some really weird things.
I'm going to have this really weird imprint because we were looking at that sexy image of Poison Ivy, and it cuts straight to that full frame shot of Steve's face, and I'm having some strange feelings right now. Steve, anything you'd like to add?
Separated at birth. We were separated at birth. I didn't
What
want to say
happened to
anything.
this episode? What happened to this broadcast?
I'm doing some super cool frame by frame over here, guys. Check this out. This slow mo, so you can see Poison Ivy in slow mo. She's got some cool stuff, guys. I know you all really wanted to talk about this, so I'm just gonna wait.
You know, I wasn't really feeling Injustice 1. I got burned by the PC version of Mortal Kombat.
That's
so
a burn
I'm,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to playing this, but I hope it's a good game. I really do. The more good games we have in the community, the better it is for everybody.
Here, let me go back and freeze frame on this for Donka.
I don't like Injustice as a precursor to this. But I like that the NRS community has become a thing of its own, and that it's at least, it's still connected with the FGC. I think it's all right for us to not be, like totally linked arms, but for everyone to know each other and to respect each other. And I think, all the Street Fighter players know the best Mortal Kombat players just as they do back. So I think that while mostly a separate scene, it's developed well. Separately.
I love the NRS and the chances that we've had.
I like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool dudes in there. A lot of young guys that kick a lot of ass, and that was the point that we were trying to get to at some point, which was why is it that Americans are doing so much better this season, and on top of that, the youngins. We have, of course, a clip here of the grand finals of NCR NorCal Regionals, Punk versus Liquid Knuckle Dew. I should say Panda Global's Punk versus Liquid's Knuckle Dew. We'll let that play a little bit as you guys tell me what you think is going on here and why not only Americans but the youth are doing so well.
Yeah, it's been like almost 30 years of mainly Japanese dominance when it comes to Street Fighter games. And then, of course, you have your infiltrations from Korea, your Shens from Singapore, Gamer Bees from Taiwan. And of course, Europe showed up in very big ways. But America has yet to win an EVO. And America's always been like, hey, we're here, guys, but, bringing up the tail end. And now all of a sudden you have a Capcom Cup champion in Knuckle Dew that's taken the whole thing. You have Punk that seems to overnight have come onto the scene and just destroyed the likes of everyone on top, including like having his way with someone like Fudo. Are you kidding me? And you go, what happened here? How is not only America doing amazing, but you got these like 20-year-old, 18-year-old guys and people like Knuckle Dew, Punk, and even Smug that are winning. And so you go, what is it about Street Fighter V, about the way the game is played, about where the community is, about these individuals that is letting them win after almost 30 years of that very much not being the case.
And John, if I'm not mistaken, your theory on this was the game's scrub friendly? Is that a fair?
I didn't. Well, no. That's a
wait.
bit much.
I actually have your exact words. 1 second. Wait, no, I don't. It was Donka's. Oh no! You said because the game is easy. You said because the game is easy.
Well,
that's why.
That's one big thing that, and I don't have the flat out answer, so I'm trying to toss around things that could contribute to it. And one of the big things is execution is down, which allows for a very different approach to Street Fighter than we've had in the past, where people don't have to necessarily be able to spend all this time figuring out one frame links and the best sequences and how to get their hands to do it every single time they're in a situation where it calls for it. And when they're under all this pressure because it's a high stakes tournament match, they can just sit down, figure something out and go with it and then start figuring out other facets of the game. And that might be a big thing that Japan has just always been very good at. And they don't need to do anymore as much. It also could be something like the fact that online play, as much as people do complain about the netcode, online play is probably better than it ever has been as far as a fighting game community. So when you think of Japan, which we've talked about before, being so close to each other, so many of the top players are close to each other, they can go and meet each other and play locally. Players like Knuckle Dew and Punk, they say they don't play with other people as much. They play and they do a lot of the training online. So it may be the fact that now we have an online that, again, not perfect, but is a much more valid training ground that's leading to stuff like this.
You got anything to add to that, Donka? I think you had, when we were talking about earlier, John said the game might be easier, and you say, well, why wouldn't the Japanese players be doing better?
I mean, I agree with a lot of what he just said as far as the online goes. As I've said on the show before, I know that Do has made it a point to train with tons and tons of people online to learn matchups. I don't know if Punk does exactly the same thing, but he's grinded matchups his own way, and he has people constantly feeding him tech, etc. I think a large part of it is that because these guys are young, and because Knuckle Doo was a top Street Fighter 4 player, but Punk was nothing near that, obviously. I think that they have developed a lot of their fighting game player habits in this game.
In 5.
In 5, and as a result, the game plays very differently than 4. The game plays very differently than other Street Fighters in general. It's more offensive than the other games in general. They've learned to really base their play style around this, and I think other people are slowly catching up. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and if you watch Punk specifically, the way he plays Street Fighter V feels like exactly how you should play the game. He's doing his frame traps so on a cycle that's random that you can't really follow it, so your defensive options feel much less good when he's doing a different thing every time. He's confirming his low forwards every time. He's focused in his game plan on the ways to maximize his damage when he gets in, and I think that's something that a lot of other people haven't done yet. And I think that Knuckle Doo, playing Guile, is doing something that very few other people are doing as well. When you look at the characters these two people play, you have Knuckle Doo playing Guile. The best Guile in Japan is like an online warrior who never goes to tournaments, and now Daigo's finally picking him up, but the other top Japanese players have not been playing him. You look at Smug playing Balrog. The top Japanese Balrog player is an online player who's beating everyone's ass, Iwate. No one's playing him that's a known player. You have, Punk playing Karen, and we have Mago playing Karen, who's done well, but Mago always tends to choke in top 8s, and that's been a mar to his results. So, this less scrubby mindset of picking top-tier characters and making them work has really worked out in the favor of the young Americans. And I think you're finally starting to see it come to fruition with, Momochi switching to Ibuki and starting to do better because of it. And I think you're going to see more of these top Japanese players just, throw caution to the wind and pick Balrog and pick Ibuki as time goes on.
I think there's a couple things I wanted to point out on this. One, there are two big advantages that Japan has historically had over the U.S. and other regions in terms of fighting games. One is an arcade release, and two is that their netcode or that their internet is so great that it's almost comparable to playing offline. Not the case in the U.S. But with Street Fighter V, both of those things are out the window. No arcade release means that everyone begins from the same starting point. And the state of Street Fighter V's netcode, their decision to artificially inflate the offline lag so that the offline and online experience are comparable, I should say.
Yeah.
That really takes out a lot of the internet infrastructure advantage that Japanese people have. So you're seeing everybody pretty much on the same foot, and Punk is just ridiculous. Knuckle Doo is just ridiculous.
Definitely.
Is the U.S. going to continue to dominate? I don't know. I don't think so. Punk certainly can, but are people going to figure him out? I don't know. We'll see. But I think those are two huge reasons why we're not seeing all Japan top 8s like we were towards the end of Street Fighter 4.
Steve, I have one thing to say to that.
You're just going to get so much use out of that, Jif.
So the rest of the entire
And
show.
as Steve kind of said, of course, there's also something to say about people just coming out and being really, really good. Knuckle Doo and Smug specifically were obviously huge names in Street Fighter 4 with characters that very few other people played. And now that they've gotten the same thing to work in Street Fighter 5, maybe they've just gotten better at fighting games and they're some of the best players out there, regardless of circumstance. I mean, it's a very real possibility, too.
Yeah.
Guys.
And I think that this game, just really quick, is more so than any other Street Fighter game. I think it is simple. I think it is more simple. That's not a bad thing. It's just what it is. And it requires that you understand what your opponent wants to do more so than anything else. And that's always a good ability to have in any fighting game, any competitive back and forth situation, regardless, sports, computer games, fighting games, whatever. But This game, I think that the players that are able to just read opponents and strictly read opponents are going to do the best. And maybe it's just coincidence that the young guys are the ones that are doing it. Maybe that has nothing to do with anything. It just so happens that an 18 and a 20-year-old are the ones winning everything right now. But I think that's their strongest suit.
Gentlemen, we're going to wrap up our panel segment here with our favorite segment of the show. You might know it as Block Grab. Does it help if I add the sound effects?
You have to do that
What's
every
that?
single time. Every single
Die
time.
1,000 deaths.
That sounded like you were trying to eat a bowl of noodles in like 2 seconds.
He often does.
Yep. Nobody eats noodles faster than me. Guys, for this week's Blocker Grab, I don't know if you saw the tweet from Harada-san, but he said, hit me with your guest character picks. I think he said 2 maybe.
Harada is one of my favorite Twitters, by the way, for sure. I mean, he just goes off on people who talk bad to him. But
Yeah, Tekken 7 is getting 2 guest characters in addition to Akuma later. One later this year, and then the other one, I believe, in early 2018. So,
All right, well, here we go. First one, Blocker Grab, starting off with an easy one. Terry Bogard. Donka.
easy to grab. I love Terry Bogard. I love King of Fighters. I mean, this is like the easiest pick ever. If Terry Bogard was in Tekken, it would be a better game. And if Tekken was King of Fighters, it would also be a better game.
If Tekken was... So basically, you just want to be playing King of Fighters is the takeaway
Tekken's
here?
cool. I'm really like inherently horrible and don't play 3D fighting games, so they make me salty.
You know, watching it, though, and the
It's cool
commentary-
though. I mean,
yeah.
it's awesome.
It's been fun to watch. I played a ton of Tekken in my day, but not competitively, and watching it has been great.
Terry's great though.
Terry Bogard, Steve, Blocker Grab.
I'm grabbing. Shout outs to Richard Wen on Twitter, who is grabbing Terry as well when we asked that on Twitter. But yeah, I would like to see KOF. I want to see a Fighters Mega Mix of all genres. I want to see some Street Fighter characters in there, some Tekken characters in there. Give me some Virtua Fighters, some Skullgirls. Give me like 100 characters from like 80 different games, and let's go at it.
And
So,
have
yeah,
them
I'm
play the
grabbing
way they do in their respective games. No balance necessary. Just let it rock.
just let it rock. Make it a $10 game. Make it broken as hell. Mugen come to life. That's what I want to see. So, but yeah, grabbing Terry.
That's 2 Terry Bogard grabs. John?
I don't care. Sure.
Okay, moving on. Next, I'm going to count that as a grab. We have Xavier Woods. He's probably in a fighting game already. He's not in Tekken, but you can play him in one of these wrestling games. He seems quite animated, and it appears as though he likes fighting games. You can block or grab Xavier Woods.
I mean, he was a cool guy when I met him, and I mean, I would hope that if he wanted to get in, I wouldn't object to that for his sake because I think he's nice. I don't really like professional wrestling, so I mean, I
Steve?
probably would never.
You can get the hell out of the FGC,
I probably
boy.
would never pick this character, and I don't really want to see it. So I mean, I'm gonna have to block on the sense that I don't care for professional wrestling, and Tekken already has a professional wrestling character, like 3 of them. But he's cool.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
In general, but you wouldn't put him in the game.
I wouldn't put him in Tekken.
What would you put him in?
I'd rather put him in Street Fighter, a game that I'll play.
Okay. Steve, would you block or grab Xavier Woods?
There's 2 reasons I got to block Xavier. One, I am Bullet Club for life, except for AJ Styles. And the second reason is he's a very talented performer, but if I'm playing a fighting game, I want violence. I want a guy who will beat someone up, crush his head, strap him to a gurney, throw the gurney off the side of a building. Then when that guy gets in an ambulance still on the gurney, he flips the ambulance over. That's the kind of guy I want to see in a fighting game. If it's Braun Strowman, I'm all in. Xavier Woods, I'm sorry, I got a block.
Dang, that's 2 blocks. John, do you care about this one?
I'd like to restate it's called a fighting game and not like an acting game. But
I don't make me come over there.
Damn, yeah. Donka got a new tone of voice slightly for when he was talking about professional wrestling, and he's like, With a different person.
I feel like it's
for
like
this
when my
one,
girlfriend's at like the wrong table of my friends, and we're just talking about Street Fighter, and she has no idea what's going on, and she's like, "What? Why are they doing this?" That's me whenever professional wrestling comes up. I don't get it at all, but that's a different subject. So go ahead.
I used to love WWE. I used to watch it religiously every week, and then I got a job, and I had to work on the nights that it was on, and I haven't watched an episode since, and that's like 12 years ago now. So, but I still appreciate it, and I think Xavier is he's been great for the FGC and participating in things and going to CEO. So I guess if the Tekken people wanted him, then fine, that'd be cool or whatever. If it would sell more Tekken games, then sure. So, well, again, I don't care, but I'll grab.
All right, guys. 2 blocks and a grab on Xavier Woods. We have 2 more that we're going to burn through real quick because we got a guest to get to. Coming up next, courtesy of your boy Donka, Captain Falcon, show me some moves. Block and
Captain
grab.
Falcon would be perfect in Tekken. He'd be perfect in Street Fighter. He's like the greatest fighting game character of all time. Every single move he has in Smash would be so easy to replicate in Tekken. And if he was in the game, you'd have like 1,000 million Smash players would buy it just to do Falcon Punch. This is the most genius business move ever. F-Zero is not a very used IP. They should pay me now. I mean, this is so easy.
Just for having the idea.
And like, Smash is cooler than professional wrestling. So grab. And that's a low bar.
Steve?
Okay, I was originally going to block, and then, Donka, your argument was amazing. Like, every single thing you said made perfect sense. Until you said professional wrestling is garbage. So for that, I'm blocking this. Dunzo. God, get out.
He doesn't want you to make those monies. So, grab, block. John, are you grabbing or blocking Captain Falcon?
Yeah, damn it. I do think it's a good idea. I think that'd be fun. Captain Falcon's a super animated guy, and people recognize him from Smash more than they do F-Zero now. But yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Everyone would just pick him just to see what Falcon Punch looked like and to see if they could land a Falcon Punch. But I don't care. So,
dude, you're so emo this time. Is it wearing off from the jury emo outfit?
I appreciate Tekken because it's around and it's part of the FGC and that's great. But I don't have any enthusiasm for it.
Neither do I.
Dang,
Yeah,
so that's the underlying lack of enthusiasm is that you just don't like Tekken.
Or yeah, most of it, yeah. But I mean, it would be great if it would help Tekken, if it would help the scene. Again, grab for Captain Falcon, whatever, and pay Donkin now.
All right, the Tekken series, we have one more to go. The Tekken series had some badass guest characters from Spawn, Star Wars characters, Zelda. It was a total lame-o move when they threw in Heihachi to the PlayStation 1. I'm like, come on, dude, this isn't a guest character. This is like, whatever. The last one on this list is one that I think a lot of people have been asking for, and that is none other than the Saiyan himself, Goku. Not like Goken, like that one time I went through half the conversation thinking you were talking about Goku and you were talking about Goken. We're talking about Goku right now.
I mean, having a Dragon Ball Z representative in Tekken would be great. It would perfectly cross over with a lot of people who already play Tekken and who play fighting games in general. Goku would not be my first pick. My first pick would be Jace of the Ginyu Force. But as far as being the main character of Dragon Ball Z, yeah, I mean, this is a grab.
You're grabbing Goku?
Goku, the first fighting game that can get Goku is going to be, it's going to be a big deal.
There are Dragon Ball Z fighting games.
And Budokai 3 was a great game, and then they stopped being fighting games. They started being, you know, like behind the back things. It's just like how Ryu in Smash may be more played than Ryu in Street Fighter, you know? He's in Smash, which is more popular probably. So, you know, being
certainly more popular than wrestling.
In a fighting game would be more popular than being in a Dragon Ball fighting game. But yeah, grab on Goku.
Steve, are you going to block or grab Goku?
Look, I just don't see his moveset working out. You know, every single punch he throws has about a 15-minute startup while he monologues. You know, you want to complete one fight, but it's going to take the course of 3 hours. So I got to block. If there is one character from another series I want to see in this game, I want to see the Hornet from Daytona, USA. I want to play as a fucking car. Let me be a car. You made it work on the Saturn with Fighters Megamix. You can make it work again. You have the technology, Bandai Namco. You can do this. Make fighting games great again. Put the Hornet in Tekken.
Steve, I have one thing to say to you.
We're just shortening the lifespan of that GIF every time.
John, are you gonna block or grab? Not on the Hornet, but Goku.
We can put a car in the game. Who cares? No. Actually, Tekken doesn't get Goku. It's not. Tekken is not on the level of DBZ in my heart. So they can have Falcon. They can have Pro Wrestler. But I'm gonna block on Goku. I think that
Tekken doesn't deserve
Tekken doesn't
Goku.
deserve it. No.
Damn.
Absolutely not. They can have a car. That's fine. I don't care. Steve's car. Whatever.
And not a car that you beat up in a bonus stage. You want a car to actually.
All right, lesson learned. Don't
you
throw a
have
block
the
grab on Tekken.
storyline right there. You have the storyline right there. He's avenging his family for all of the crap he took.
Then he should be in Street Fighter V, man. You got your titles mixed up.
They're not gonna put any new characters in Street Fighter V. Yeah. No.
Gentlemen,
No.
thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Best of Five. We're gonna say goodbye, and then we're gonna say hello to Mr. Alejandro Valle. That'll be coming up soon, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Alex Valle is coming on the show.
I think he is our most frequent guest, and
Not
for
on
a
Best
reason.
of Five. This is the first time
he's
on.
our first time on Best of Five.
Yeah, you hit the reset button. You
But
remember?
definitely a great friend of the show.
Absolutely.
One of our best friends.
Was it? Who won the last Street Fighter 4 Capcom Cup? Was it Kazunoko?
It was Kazunoko.
But then he didn't get automatically qualified because it was a new game, Street Fighter
Because it
5.
was a new game.
So
But he
that's
did
what
get
I'm
to
telling you
make the
right now.
Nikali costume.
That is correct. And let me tell you something. Alex Valle joins us now. Hey, man. What's going on, Alex? How you doing?
Wow, that was quick. Just call in and here we go, huh? No standby.
You know what? We usually vamp for a little bit, but I saw you were ready to go, and I was like, let's bring this guy on. Alex, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm a little tired these days, man. There's a lot going on. There's a lot more going on this year than previous years, I'll tell you that, man.
I mean, previous years you had, of course, your weeklies. You had stuff going on in Esports Arena. You had, of course, a tournament, major tournament that you put on, all kinds of stuff. What has been added other than E-League, which we'll talk about in a second, to your plate?
Well, I'm in the midst of, you just finished West Coast Warzone, right?
Mhm.
We just launched the Red Bull Proving Grounds Vanguard for 2017. We have some online activities. We had Savage Series earlier in the year. We have Overdrive Series, which is the Revelator online tournament going on. So remember, I told you guys a while ago that online is the future, and here we are. Right, I'm trying to introduce new players to the scene. This is the modern age arcade, and then hopefully soon some big announcements will be out there. But
What kind of big announcements, Alex?
I am not authorized to say just yet. So they'll be coming up. They'll be coming up real soon.
I'm trying to pull up a picture here that you tweeted out just the other day. Check out this picture, and I want you to tell me what it means to you. Let me just pull it down here for a second.
Oh man, here we go.
No. This is here. Wait 1 second. Let me get this to fit in the frame here. We're doing it live, guys. This tweet right here that has you and your boys in it. I had to look up what Sanin was, and it's a group of 3 ninjas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, if you guys watch Naruto, there is 3 legendary ninjas that have their place in the storyline. Yeah, I've actually watched the stuff. But I learned from those guys. Those guys learned from somebody else. But that trio, I'm not like tooting my own horn, but here it goes. That trio has dominated U.S. Street Fighter for like over 10 years. And we're still pushing forward in our own ways. Like Choi is running NCR. I'm teaching the new generation. Watson is, when he opens Super Arcade, he's still gonna cultivate
the dude's still
scene,
working at it,
what I mean?
man. I know it's
Yeah.
a meme, but the dude's still he's fighting the good fight. He's getting in there.
Yeah. So,
but take us back. This is the kind of question I like to ask, man. Take us back to this moment. It's a cool photo. It's framed well. Y'all look like you're on maybe an album cover or something. But what are we looking at here? Where were you guys headed? And just take us back to that moment if you would.
We're in Japan together. We've traveled all over to many places and many tournaments together. But now we're kind of like kids in the candy shop. We're like, damn, now we've made it. We made it to the motherland together, and we thought it was just the biggest thing ever. There was never such an exhibition, right? And this wasn't just an exhibition on one game. This is an exhibition on all the popular freaking games, like all the popular Capcom games, and these were the times where if you were good at Street Fighter, just Street Fighter, you weren't like the best. You weren't the best fighting game player. You had to be good at least at 3 or 4 games to be considered a top player. But now, the focus has changed, and there's a lot more players on these games, so it's a completely new, I guess, a new evolution of modern game, I guess, esports. So, as you want to call it that.
Well, that's a good transition here because I want to talk to you about E-League. Of course, you were on E-League. You're participating in E-League. When it first hit, there was a mixed reaction. Some people, from a bunch of different levels on it. People saying I should have been in it. That person should not have been in it. This is ruining the game. I saw a tweet from you saying, why can't we all just be happy that there are this many opportunities being afforded to the fighting game community? Can you take it from there and just kind of fill out that sentiment there?
Yeah. You're a fighting game fan and you're watching tournaments and you're watching streams. Everything must be top notch. Everything has to be pro play this, pro play that, the best of this, the best of that.
Best of 5?
Best of everything, right? But yeah, we get it. But going on TV is it's such a bigger transition, right? And it took us how many years to even get this far? So let's tread carefully, right? Going into that next phase. And I can guarantee you we're going to see nothing but pros down the line. This is only the first one, right? So everybody expects that, because so-and-so player it didn't make it, this show is garbage. You shouldn't watch it. It's a joke. We'll just wait for Topanga or something, right? That's just such a shitty attitude to have, right? You don't understand how long it took just, for Evo to get as big as Evo, right? And what's next? Finally on TV. And what do you think's going to happen? They're probably going to want only the best players and only the best personalities. We don't know. So it's a time to be excited because it's happening, all right? Versus we are still in the small bubble where we just have to watch major to major and that's it. Are you happy with that? I wouldn't just be happy with that. I love the majors, but I want to see the scene grow past that. And here we are.
Yeah. You were just at E-League, and then you were just at West Coast Warzone. Is it, at the end of the day, the same fucking thing? At least at the heart of it, fighting games? Or is it not the same thing?
Fighting games, we watch it. We love the fighting game aspect, all right? But ultimately, it's about the people. It's always about the people. You play fighting games, it brings you together. But when you are done playing your 3-minute match or 5-minute match, what do? You spend the rest of the day talking to the guys you came with. That's the fighting game community. And, we're at 30-year anniversary. Street Fighter is going to have its 30-year anniversary. And you'll see stories where it's just people dead broke, spending all they got to get to an event. And that made their life, right? And they weren't the best at the game. They just wanted to go there to watch their best player. When you get if you're in that shoes, or if you're a top player, and you see somebody like that, you're like, and you don't shake their hand, and they're like, whoa, what the hell? What gives? You'll finally understand it's about the people, right? Because those are the ones that are paying your bills or coming to watch you, paying the entry fee to pay the event to make sure it sustains. So you got to give respect to that. All right. That's just what it is.
I have a question for you. I see that picture and it's OGs right there, right? I remember one time you were at Arcade UFO. They did like some IGN event at South by Southwest. Maybe this was years ago. Maybe
Right.
maybe 6 years ago. I could be
Yep.
wrong.
Yep.
And I got a chance to talk to you. It was one of the first times I interviewed you, and you were talking about how the FGC is when you're going to a new town or a new area, you hit somebody up, and it's like you're with family.
It's
The-
family.
The modern esport era, and I'm talking about your League of Legends and your Dota and that stuff, doesn't give me the same vibe as that community aspect of the FGC. So the question is this: we have the young guns coming in. Do we in any way, shape, or form risk losing that community aspect of it because it's a new mindset and younger guys, and they're seeing, to them, it's always been esports. It's never been this grassroots long adventure that we've been on, right?
Yeah, that is definitely a concern. I have that concern all the time. Where I mean, you can start seeing it in the Smash community, right? They're very young, right? They came in very young, and some of their first major events are at trade shows already. Like it took us how long to get into a Street Fighter event to get into a trade show, right? So we saw our fans and like the audience kind of like look at the road and the hardships there. But it's like, here you go, Smash. You guys are in TwitchCon. Here, you're at, South by Southwest. We're in every event now, and that's like the norm. And that's where the concerns about the VIP rooms came out and all that stuff, right? So yeah, of course there were some concerns. And Street Fighter wise, that's why you got people like me, you got people like you to guide them and let them know that, hey, take a step back from Alice in Wonderland and Oz and just kind of appreciate how we got here, right? Because we had the luxury of growing up in the arcade, right? We had struggle. We have a story to tell, and hopefully, we can keep telling the story to the younger generation to keep their head straight, dude. That's how we grow and keep the tradition going. The concern will always be there. There are some people who are just gonna come in and be like, yeah, I don't care about the old school. That they had their time. It's my time. I'm gonna I'm gonna qualify Capcom Cup. I'm gonna get invited to E-League, and I'm just gonna take this money. I'm gonna jam, right? Well, you know what? Live in your own. You can live in your own world, right? But most of us, we know where we came from, and that's the story we'll always tell.
That's awesome.
Speaking of the young guns, I mean, we already talked about this on the show ourselves. You've been tweeting about it a bit. The young guns are taking over in terms of results and not just watching the game. I mean, obviously, we have a couple of young American people. I mean, Punk is, 18 or 19, winning our major events over the legends you fought many, many years ago. What's with that?
What's the deal, man?
There's a lot to this. It's a very sensitive topic because Street Fighter V, without a doubt, by far one of the easiest games to play.
No one will deny that.
Nobody will deny that, right? So with that is easier barrier to entry, right? It's like, oh, cool. I don't have to have a one frame link. I don't have to know 40 hit combos. I can learn a character in maybe an hour, 2 hour tops, and then just go in it, right? And that really pissed off a lot of legacy players, right? Because now you can't really identify, you can't really show your personality with these characters. We've heard all these stories, and not taken away from the top players that are doing great now, but they're just taking advantage of what they can, man. I mean, they were already good in Street Fighter 4, right? They're past the point of crying for a harder game. They just want to win now. The young blood is so hungry that they'll just take whatever they got in front of them and just body you with this shit. No problem. In the case of Do, he earned his stripes in Street Fighter 4, one of the best games of all time in many people's minds, right? Punk has been playing Street Fighter 4. He wasn't on the radar where Do was at, but he paid his dues there too. And I've noticed those guys in the online world and of course offline, and not only them. I know the next guys that are coming up too, because now we have a reboot of the series and where it's not available in the arcades. Nobody gets a head start. We're playing to game at the same time. the whole centralized location thing is gone because now you have access to all the best players in your region, within at least decent connection wise, maybe 4 or 5 hours away, right? By plane. And it's just netcode is not the best, but it's better than Street Fighter 4. I don't care what you say, Street Fighter 4 netcode sucks because unless you live in Japan, where I mean that their internet infrastructure is ridiculous, but compared to that, rollback is always better. I mean, of course, you're gonna have your issues, and when it's great, it's great. When it sucks, but it's still better than Street Fighter 4 netcode. But yeah, there's like I can keep going on and on and on this, but the main takeaway, the game got easier. Net play is improved to where you have access to higher, more top players. Game release date, right? Same day everywhere. And I mean, everybody that loves the Japanese players, yeah, of course, it's a big blow to them that they don't have it in the arcade, so they can't get together. But you know what though? That's their fault because they didn't cultivate their scene and the offline scene. We did in America. That's why we have more tournaments here. We have more offline tournaments here, more gatherings, all of this stuff. Japan used to have this in their arcades, but now it's gone, right? Like, and then I mean, they still do it for their anime games and other games. They have like all their little sectors, but they did not focus into the world of esports like we did.
I saw an interview on Yahoo Esports with NuckleDoo, and he was saying that he's upset that more people are doing the teabag. That actually bothers him. He's like, that's my thing, right? And then you see Punk doing it quite a bit. What does that tell you about the current state of the young guns in the FGC?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat the question? I was trying to read the chat a little bit. So
no, I'm just I find it humorous that that Do is the pioneer of the tech, the taunt tech. He's upset that Punk is doing it. Punk's doing it a lot. What does that tell you about the current energy in the young guns here of the FGC?
It's the personality we need. I've been telling everybody, like, hey, you don't have to go out there and like curse up a storm and stomp the yard, but whenever you get an interview spot or whenever like you get a win, you gotta show how you feel, right? You just gotta put it out there. It's okay. Like we did it back in the days. Like every time we won, even putting a quarter up, yeah, like people knew who that person was. Now all the cameras around us, and we're kind of like, ooh, should we do this or not? Of course, just don't go out of control to hurt anybody or put somebody in harm's way. But this is what the viewers want to see, right? This is what your fans want to see to make this interesting. Like the recent case study, look, Gutex, right? He didn't score so well at E-League, but he was the most marketable player and the most noticeable player out of the entire roster, hands down. He did his job, right? And that's just by and so people ask like, oh, shouldn't he have been invited or not? Didn't matter. He got more looks on that particular broadcast than any other player, hands down. So power to those guys for showing their personality. And I'm not saying to teabag more, to be more creative because that's getting old, man. So
you're not digging those teabags anymore?
Well, I mean, when everybody's trying to do it, I'm like, come on, can't you think of where's your own personality? Is that all you can do? It's like you gotta do something else now because the teabag's out there. Why copy somebody else? Unless you're gonna do it better, you're gonna put a real taunt in there. Or let somebody hit you. Walk up. That's what I used to do. I used to walk to somebody's face, and I would just let him hit me for 50% life, and then I would fight. Like
that's the taunt. The taunt is take half my life. I don't care.
Yep, exactly. That's how you do it. See, like if you were back in the old days when you were trying to get a leg up on the competition, that's what you do. Or there's this thing we used to call seconds, right? I'd beat down the guy in the first game, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let my friend play seconds. Like seconds? What do you mean? Second round? There's none of that. Yeah. So like even if he loses, I'm gonna come back and I'll beat you third round. So it's kind of like a humiliation, right? So we would do this in like practice. So those are the personality traits we're missing. The old school guys would show you guys how to do it, but I mean we're behind the scenes now, man. We're just kind of waiting for you guys to like speak up and do your thing.
You gotta whisper them out. You gotta whisper in their ear, hey dude, do this. You gotta let us know how to do it. I want to get to the set. But first, I'm going to bring up an old topic that's already getting old, and that is the question of thuggery. And I'm going to bring it up in this context. The same thing. This is spurred from the E-League business with the security guard. You mentioned earlier you don't want to cause harm. Don't worry about it. We got security guards now. This, I want your take on it. I was listening to an interview on the On Blast show. Richard Lewis was on there. He said it was his idea to do it. He didn't mean anything malicious about it. Whatever. I don't doubt that. I think what rubbed people the wrong way, and I want your take, is that we all know that there's thuggery, right? We get it. We like that. But when you kind of exploit it, market it, make it a part of it, you almost cheapen it or make it disingenuous. And that might have been, it's like you're using our stuff and you're using it, in a way that we're not okay with. Am I way off base on that one, Alex?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you why. 'Cause, this is actually a good question. If it was portrayed in like every other set, of course I would have a problem. I'd be that's bullshit, man. Take the security guard out of there. But it was just for one particular match. So, is it totally right? I thought it was good TV, the way I see it. But I can see like where the evil organizers, they didn't really like it because, they worked so hard for so many years to make a, enjoyable event in the safety of all people, right? That's like one of the last things we'd want to be known on national television. But in a way, that would never show up in another genre. It wouldn't show up in Counter-Strike. It wouldn't show up in League of Legends or any of that. Really, come on. It actually makes us more interesting. And somebody be like, hey, why is the cop there, man? Oh, these guys gonna start trouble? Wow, damn, the fighting community is actually pretty real. Versus, it's silence for like 15 minutes to an hour, and then the entire team gets up and like shakes their hand and kind of like quietly goes off into the night.
Yeah.
You really want to see that?
Yeah. No. Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you on that one, Alex. I think you're right, and I promise never to bring it up on this show ever again. Alex, your boy Donka has already made his way over to the gameplay section of our set.
He's ready.
And before we get to it, I asked you, hey, man, will you play a set with Donka? And I think we have that image here just so people can see. And if you're down, we hardwired our PS4, no more Wi-Fi crap, but I believe Donka would like a run back. And your response was, free wins again? No problem, smiley face. Donka, what do you have to say about that, buddy?
I just can't believe I've become this punching bag. I swear to God, I'm a serious Street Fighter V player, and I'm going to show it right now.
What was that, Alex?
Disconnected from game server, dude. Is this what's gonna happen, or what's the deal?
I think I've just got to log back in on the PS4. Let me try it right now.
Okay, all right.
So we're gonna get a set. Alex, do you remember how it went down last time? Free wins.
I play a bunch of kids all the time, man. So, I don't even remember what did I play.
To
Rashid
him, for him, it was just Tuesday, Donka. That's what he's saying, Alex. I mean, Alex is saying that it was just Tuesday for him, dude.
All right, we're logged in.
I think we still have you on our old system here, and we're gonna invite you here real quick. Who are you rocking these days, Rashid?
I'm not gonna play Rashid. Let's actually have some fun. Let's have more fun.
Well, I'm playing Colleen.
No, you're not.
Yes,
Don't play Colleen.
That's my main.
It's your main now?
Yes.
Every time I talk to you, you have a new main. So you're not loyal, man.
Well, maybe not, but being loyal is the wrong way to be. I'm a Colleen player now.
I'm a Colleen player too. Then what's that?
Damn, we're mirroring.
Hey, I thought. Hey, what happened to Ride or Die Guile? What's going on?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Power.
I'm just laughing because Donka's wearing a green shirt, and it's making him go a little see-through on the chroma key here.
Oh, we're getting see-through Donka, huh?
See-through Donka. I can see you're gonna be able to see right through him. Is the long and short of it.
Is this gonna be like the ghost of Donka?
Pretty much. He's disappearing like it was Back to the Future. Gutex went to the future and or Back to the Past. Scrubbed him
man.
out.
Okay.
Why am I in this random lobby?
Damn it, Donka, you ever played this game before?
I think I accidentally made a lobby that was
Battle Lounge.
one more time.
Oh,
I'm not an online monster. I'm not like the other kids. I just play.
you just made me join a lobby where somebody from somebody from Europe was in, man. Where are you sending me to?
All right, we got private slots up in here. We're ready.
We got
to go.
a private slot now. We got 2 players instead of 3. We're inviting.
He's been playing too much King of Fighters, Alex.
Hey man, do you know how to set up a lobby? I can send you our tournament process guide to help you out.
He needs all the help he can get, Alex.
I mean, dude, I'll send you the link after we're done. Game audio too loud, man. I can't hear nothing. Yeah, hey, see, whose picture is that up there? That's Guile.
It's go time.
Well, now it's Colleen.
Oh wow, look at you. You ain't loyal at all.
All right,
So
guys.
have you been playing her at all? Do you know your combos? Are you gonna beat me with just footsies raw? What's the idea here, Alex?
Just protect your cheeks. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Hopefully, our new Ethernet wire will allow us to have a nice, clean match. Oh, look at you! You're super diamond. I'm on Efren's account. I'm a super bronze.
Shut up, guys.
This match.
How's the connection, Donka?
It's a lot better than it was with Punk.
Yo, is Colleen a sexier Cammy? Or is it blasphemous to suggest that? People think you said friend's account, not a friend's account. My PS4, gentlemen.
Oh!
Oh man, this is Omega free, dude. You gotta go back to Gal.
No. That was a warm-up round. I swear to God.
Don't swear to him, man. Swear to me. Like doing that. Ooh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. We got it. Almost. Oh no. What happened? What happened? No.
Alright, I didn't spend super, which was stupid.
Yeah,
that was a young man's greed right there.
Dude,
But I'm
you-
100% confident I will win this game.
Well, you already lost this one.
What are we
So you
doing? The show's called Best of 5 now, man.
It doesn't matter. Just watch.
Just watch. Valle, you ready?
It's very difficult, right? Because I'm so used to standing next to the person and feeling their aura as I play. And when I play through the internet, it's much harder. You know?
You play through the internet, huh?
I have to get their feelings through the Ethernet cable. So I'm a feeling-based player, I think.
Yeah, you just keep saying whatever you gotta say, man.
Should be dead.
All right, Dad. What is it, T.O.?
You can call him Papi.
I will not.
Ooh. Nice. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Nice. Good adaptation. I'll give you that.
They were saying it's not T-O, it's 2-0, but that didn't come through, man.
This is my girl, man. I think I finally found it. I find a character that I look at after the win screen,
what
and
you
I'm like,
said with Alex, with Guile, you're not loyal, dude. If the ladies are watching,
where's
better watch
your
out for
Ryu?
you better watch out for this. Hey, I already mentioned Ryu is not my character in Street Fighter V. I already mentioned that. The game came out.
Alex, you can't let him beat you, man, because then I'll never hear the end of it.
Oh no, he's playing it. I gotta beat whoever his main is after this.
Crouching Fierce.
You would lose literally 300 points if you lost this match in ranked.
Chicken Little 88 is asking for casters. We don't have those in the FGC, but I'm not good at commentary, so I'm just going to enjoy the match.
Should commentate anyway, Efren. I want to hear your
right.
uneducated Colleen commentary.
So we have Colleen facing Colleen. We have Russian bear skin cap versus Cammy wannabe. Colleen, she's doing the special forces thing. Looks like Valle has you in the corner. And you just got out. From corner to corner, Valle, no lo dejes.
oh,
Oh.
What's it gonna be, boys?
new skill start around.
Thank you, Recorded Live, for the round of applause.
Oh no, my own setup.
Which Colleen costume do I like better? I think I like the knockoff Cammy one.
Ooh, nice.
Zelda Master wants to know where's the trash talk.
Oh, you hit that.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
Oh, wow. Good job. Didn't
Valle.
apply more pressure. That was pretty close, right? For a character that you main. That character I just started to pick up.
There's that option select
This
right
is
there.
like, I don't even know. You probably stream the game. You probably play more than I do anyway. You were on TV to play this game. Or wait, you didn't make it to TV to play this game. Oh,
Valle.
No, I was on TV.
Oh, you made it?
Yeah. I did. I did.
How did go after that?
How did it go after that? You may find out later on.
Are we doing strict Colleen this whole time? No Guile.
After
no
I
Rashids?
beat him this time, he has to pick at least for one other match. He's got to pick his Rashid.
Now, Donkey, are you really trying to compare any of your accomplishments over mine? Because oh, I thought so. Oh.
Donka, you just had to get warmed up.
Well, it didn't land yet.
Round 2.
You just never got to see me play Street Fighter 2. That was the problem.
You weren't even born yet. What are you talking about? Wow, I didn't even land yet.
This is actually the most Colleen I've seen in, I think, ever. These guys are so into, you know, Donkey usually talks shit during these. Oh boy.
Ooh, and I think I am dead.
Nice corner pressure, my man. What you got?
Nicely done.
That's 3-1.
That is 3-1.
That's a best of 5 already.
Win.
That
Do we
is.
need the rubber match for all the marbles?
No, I actually like this. I'm just, the mirror match is always, it's always something to pick up on because we're just doing the same thing over, right? We're catching up on patterns. So
We have the same tools. I don't know if we're doing the same thing. It seems like what I'm doing is a little better.
oh, you mean like just flailing around? Okay.
You're going to keep playing, Colleen?
Yeah. We can do it.
Hey, Valle, what is top 2 things you're looking forward to in the patch?
Let's do
Oh wow, that's a really good question.
Give me one, if that's easier.
Balrog finally got nerfed, dude. He's not going to be good
Oh yeah,
anymore.
dude. You know, like Balrog is now bottom 3. Damn, that 25 health. Woo. I'm so looking forward to that.
It's hard for me to talk trash to Alex because, like, I get to read him tweet about how much he hates Balrog, and that's literally, like, makes my night every time. Because I am on
Dude,
the...
I'm not the only one. Everybody does. Only
No,
only
I
people,
do too, of course.
Dude, everybody knows that character is ridiculous. Come on.
round 1.
Would you say he carries people?
Fight.
Dude, he's carrying so many people. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Pure Rog, like, he can play any character. He's ridiculous. I mean, it's not him, but like anybody that's learned, like, starting Street Fighter 5 with Balrog, good luck having the same success with another character.
Fuck.
Language, young man.
Oh, Lord, that was a lot of stuff on the screen.
Oh man, wrong button.
Oh, she did the wrong way.
She did.
What, that was my fault that she medium punched into the corner instead of out of it, Efren?
You're the one with your hands on the stick.
Round
You're right about that.
Fight.
It was definitely not you.
Sanford University says Donka for the free wins. I don't know. It's starting to come back around.
You lose.
Valle may, in fact, be able to defend this comment he made.
You
about the free
don't
wins.
play girl characters very often in fighting games, do you?
That's not true. When I used to play, I played every character. It didn't matter who it was. I even played Chun-Li in Third Strike when I actually wanted to win. I didn't care. Like now, it's like I just pick characters that I think are interesting. Like I picked Jerry for like the longest time too. But everybody know how that character ended up. I did the same thing.
Valle, what's your real assessment of Donka as a player? Is he a scrub or what?
Oh, he's definitely not a scrub. Plays Texas community is pretty strong. Like he's a very diverse player. He plays a lot of different games, so he can adapt very fast. He can switch his playstyle. Like that's the advantage of a player that plays many different type of fighting games. So the one thing though, like they kind of have scatterbrain. Like they start doing all these crazy things and they kind of get out of the they lose their train of thought really quick because they're just trying a lot of different things.
That's definitely true about me, actually. I think you have me pegged pretty well.
Nailed it. Valle, we have some questions coming in from the chat for you. You let me know if you want to take them.
Sure.
We got from Recorded Live. Is Valle really retired from tournaments?
Nah.
Is that a no?
Nah.
Not
I just
handled.
can't.
Oh.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't have time to enter a lot of tournaments. Like, I'll go to Evo, but like pretty soon you'll know why I can't enter. It's just I have too much on my plate.
Are you contractually obligated not to enter, or is it just a time thing?
No, I entered West Coast Warzone, and I was the stream provider for that event. I just didn't. I had no say in the brackets, so I was able to enter that. So it's not that. It's just I literally have no time.
We have another question here from. Let me just scroll back here because it already passed. From. Did I get this question right? Not handled. I know that guy. He wants to know, can you ask Valle how the Overdrive series is going in comparison to the other online series that he has run?
Well, it's actually going really well. The community is starting to embrace online overall these days, so it's it's a much needed platform to have, and then the more that we have these events, the better it is for the overall scene. That's how we get new talent.
Cool. Cyanide wants to know, why isn't anybody taking advantage of Colleen's broken backdash? I'm not sure. Cyanide.
It is really broken.
How broken is it?
So her backdash is the... There's a few other backdashes that go really far on frame 3. Cammy is one. I think Karen's another. But Colleen moves by far the farthest. And a lot of block strings. Basically, if you do a normal versus Colleen and you leave a gap of 3 frames, she can get out. Like 100%. You have to do a super... Just backdashing. I don't do it enough because like in my head, backdashing in the middle of a block string is like really bad. But then it's not. It's actually not really bad. It just feels that way in my head because of other characters.
What's the score right now? Is this a new set?
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no, we're both bad.
yeah, you had meter.
Dropping ice bombs on this guy.
Oh wow, nice foot punish. That was good.
Oh god. Did you hear that, Alex?
Yeah.
He was hitting that button hard, dude.
You lose.
He medium kicked back with such conviction.
It's like, oh, he's whiffing that in front of my face.
Yeah, but Colleen's kind of cute. Am I right?
Round one. Fight.
All right, guys. Where are we at here? Is this 2-1 in this?
We'll
new
call
set?
this for all the marbles.
All right.
Unless I lose.
Classic Danka.
I keep doing that. Oh.
This damn chat's going on and on about LPG, talking shit about Broly. Nobody gives a shit about that. Broly's a hoss. He can handle it. Javi SRK, I wonder if that's the actual Javi from Houston, asks, Alex, do you still hit buttons as hard as you did in the arcade?
No, not as hard because the buttons are more reactive.
Oh, so that was a product of faulty buttons?
There's people who still hit buttons like that as like a result, like Jan from Houston.
Oh wow, it's took on my runners.
All right, this is one round away from every marble in the building.
Round two.
If I win this, I'm the best Ryu in Street Fighter 2 as well.
That makes no sense.
Well, it does in my mind.
Roigi Biz Mika says, buttons at a Pizza Hut that have had soda spilt on them tend to be less reactive. I think you're right.
Oh, what? Oh,
Yeah, make sure you're dead.
that's gonna kill for sure.
R. Mika asks, Alex, why can't pros practice and play like Punk? I'm not sure if that's a fully formed question there, but what do you think?
I mean, it's not a full question, but I'm pretty sure they do. It's just time. You know, everybody has their time.
Oh boy.
The mad jumper.
You gonna bring it home, Dunka? Oh boy.
Oh. Oh boy.
I'm just trading those floor ice spikes.
Floor ice spikes.
What do you call them?
Ooh, I think I'm dead.
Oh, getting some of that online.
Oh, it's the guy.
Wake up, Mash!
Oh, yep, good job. Yeah, too close for that.
So,
Very close for that.
Mr. Valle, if you'll direct yourself, your eyes to the screen here, there's something I want to show you. It says right there, free wins again, no problem.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that now that the set's
You
done?
know, it's a new show. I mean, come on. We gotta let him like. We can't have him depressed for the rest of the year, man. Come on. You know, like. So and plus like, it's good that I'm playing another Colleen because I'm actually trying to learn this character. I don't think she's great. I think she's just one of those. Okay, here's my take in this game right now. There's top 3, there's top 7, there's bottom 7, and there's freaking bottom 3. That's it. She's just somewhere in the 7s. I don't care like what people think. Like, oh, this character's top 10, top 10. Man, just stick them in the middle. It doesn't matter. You guys already know who the top 3 are.
Is your top
at least-
3 like what's your top 3? Balrog, Urian, Ibuki?
No,
Guile?
Guile, Yuri, and Balrog.
Okay, I mean that's pretty
I
close.
mean, Ibuki's like she takes work, man. I'm like, go ahead. I mean, she has the tools, but you're gonna have to mix somebody up at least 3 or 4 times to get them dizzy, right? Go ahead and land that hit, right? It's not easy. It's not easy to land hits with Ibuki, right? I mean, Balrog, just don't miss anything, right? And good luck on reacting to the dash or his dash punch or his other safe ways of landing hits. I mean, he's got great tools. I mean, I'm not saying they're unbeatable, but like there are obvious advantages. But every other character, I mean, even Loris is really good, but you still have to land a hit. You know, you got to get in, you got to work. You know, you got to mix people up. Good luck getting in on a really good Guile. Urian always has the comeback factor. I don't think Urian, U.S. Urians haven't reached the higher level potential yet. It's just we're kind of, you know, in this, I can combo, you know, if I land this hit, but I think they need to practice on landing that hit. So a lot of people are just kind of flailing around still. So,
I have a question for you, Alex. This is unrelated.
Yep.
Do you know the difference between a Ryu and a Ryu?
yeah. A Ryu is when, you know, we didn't know how to translate well from the arcade days. That's the 90s version.
There's a play style difference though, right? Like, you know, if someone calls him Ryu, you know they're going to do like EX Fireball every time they get a bar and DP like on every wake up.
Yeah, pretty much. They're just going to use all their all their cash to get you off them. But yeah, they need a lot of work. That's a silly question, man. Why would you ask that?
That's what you get from Donka, man. Hey, Valle, where can we find you guys? Obviously, your Twitter handle's been up on the screen this entire time, but where are you going to be next? What tournaments you got coming up, if at all? What's your schedule looking like these days?
Oh, man. Well, in about an hour, I have the Overdrive series.
Nice.
If you actually want more information, please follow our Twitter at the Level Up series. Everything's posted there. We have Texas Showdown coming up. Javi, I know you're watching, bro. Early May. That's and also what's going down over there is on the Sunday is going to be the Red Bull Proving Grounds event, which is also taking place at Texas Showdown. So there's two in one. So if you guys haven't checked out Texas, man, it's close to my heart, man. I've always loved going down there, and I'm happy to be working with Javi on the event. So glad like the community's still striving. And Donkey, you'll be there, right? And Efren, you
Yes,
guys will be
sir.
over there?
Yes,
You
sir.
know,
Nice.
unfortunately, and I will be missing Texas Showdown this year.
Oh no!
I
Okay.
made a trip 6 months ago to go somewhere with my girlfriend, and it happened to overlap with this date. So I will be missing, which is unfortunate because I've never missed a Texas Showdown since moving here. But I can attest to what Alex said and what Javi has said and what Efren has said. It's definitely a tournament to go to, especially if you've never been here before. I think you'll like the place, and I think you'll like the tournament.
Yeah, a little fun fact about Texas Showdown. It's actually one of the oldest established OG major tournaments, right? And it's made its resurgence back in like 3 or 4 years ago, when Javi wanted to modernize the whole scene over there in Houston, and we got together and we're like, dude, let's do it, man, because I haven't seen Javi in freaking over 10 years since like we saw each other at Evo that time, and it's just such a Texas is like the biggest state that we have. It just makes sense for that scene to strive, and it's like the middle of everywhere. So that scene, and of course Austin, you guys are always been hospitable. All you guys in Austin, Texas have been great, and all the surrounding cities. So I'm excited to be at Texas Showdown in May 5th through the 7th. So
No DreamHack for you?
can't make DreamHack because come on, man, I'm planning this event. So you can't just like bring a stream gear and like I can go to an event the week before, man. It takes a lot of communications, a lot of coordination, and online events that are happening and other fantastic things that are about to be announced. So you'll understand. You understand why I can't go out and play as much, but I will be at Evo after that. So
Right on. Well, we'll look
All right.
forward to seeing you at those places. Alex, I want to thank
Cool.
you again for coming on the show. It's your first time on Best of Five, which we had to change the name for certain reasons, but you had been on the show many times. We love having you on. I feel like we're getting a true slice of the FGC in the flesh here when we have you on, and it's always a treat.
Sweet.
And I appreciate
Always
it,
a great
man.
time with you guys, man. Thank you guys.
Well, good luck with your online tournament coming up right now in an hour. We'll go to Level Up Live Twitch channel and check it out there.
Actually, it's not on Level Up Live. It's on Stream.me.
Okay.
It's on
We'll
Stream.
find it there.
Stream.me and Overdrive series. So, but if you want more information, please check out our Twitter. It's Level Up series. All the info is posted there. So, thank
Right
you
on,
guys.
man. Well, thank you so much, Alex. And thank
All right.
everybody who watched the show. Again, this was Best of Five. Donka, thank you for your awesome set there and for bringing one home for the team.
You know, it's interesting with Alex because, you know, Alex is obviously one of my favorite people in the FGC. And every time I talk to him, you know, I have this thing going on, right, where I'm like that weird dude who says something weird and the other guy gets thrown off. And that's kind of how I converse in general.
Yeah?
This is like my whole life is being that guy.
Yeah.
But Alex just like is immune to me, right? So I talk to him and I'm like, Alex, like, what about Ryu? And he's like, you're a child, sit down. And it's like, whoa. What's my next line? So Alex Valle is the one person who can silence Donka.
He's the Donka counterpick.
He is the counter pick to me.
It worked.
It works hard.
He's
It's
been
like,
there
I am
before.
like scrambled in my mind. I'm like, how do I trash talk Alex Valle, who is just immune to everything I could possibly say?
We'll have to pick it up
I
there
think I
next
have to
week.
gain like 10 years and maybe like a
Yeah.
lot of gray hair.
Yeah, some grays. The grays would help.
You
The-
got some.
I'm working on them, dude. So thanks to Valle for coming on the show. Thank you to John and Steve who help produce the show and come on every week. We love having them. Shout outs to Donka for putting on a show.
Can we announce our next week's guest, or is it not set enough?
He said, "Can I lock you in for next week?" He said yes, and that person is IFC Yipes. So we're
Ooh.
very excited to have Yipes on next week. Hopefully we don't look like dummies because something comes up and he's not able to make it. But we are super thrilled. We've tried to have him on the show before, and I think it's finally going to happen. We're really looking forward to that. So again, let me finish this damn wrap up here, Donka. Shout outs to everybody who watched the show. If you like it, please follow and drop us a line. We will be uploading these to the newly created Best of Five YouTube channel, and you can catch last week's episode and this one hopefully sometime soon. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you next week.